Hello, all you wonderful people, and welcome to the video. In this video, I am going to talk about habits, how you form bad habits, some of the bad habits you might have actually formed while you've got depersonalization, and how to change that and how to form good habits to give you your best chance of success to overcome DPDR. And for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Dan, and I do help people overcome their bad habits and overcome their DPDR using coaching techniques so they can live a life DPDR free. Habits are a bit of a tricky one because they are so easily formed, but they're so incredibly hard to break. And what you might not realize is that with your DPDR, you might have unintentionally formed some bad habits, and now you're sort of stuck with them and they're not really helping you in your situation and they're not helping you overcome it. Let's quickly have a look at what habits are and sort of the science that goes behind how they're formed. Habits are things you do so often that they become second nature. What's happening in your brain is that you're forming new neural pathways, and the more you use them, the stronger they get. That's why habits can form quickly, and breaking or changing them can be challenging. Habits and depersonalization. The reason bad habits are so hard to change is because they are so ingrained in you that you usually do them without thinking. To suddenly change or stop them will feel different and uncertain and difficult because your mind will say, hang on, why aren't you doing the thing you normally do? I don't like this new way of doing things. Most habits with DPDR are bad, and they usually form without you even being aware. For example, you think you have DPDR, so you do research. You see other people experiencing what you do, and you want to know more. You continue to research each day until the habit has formed that you must research every day. While it started with good intent, the result is you're obsessing over DPDR. You can't think of anything else, and you're actually making your DPDR worse. So how do you change habits? There are three things you need to consider when forming a new habit. Know the goal and create clear actions of how to get there. Get the conscious and unconscious mind working together and identifying any obstacles in your way. Think of forming a new habit like a rider on an elephant going down a path. The rider is your conscious, rational mind. The elephant is your unconscious, emotional mind, and the path is your journey. In this scenario, who do you think is in charge? It's the elephant. It's the unconscious mind. That's what's really in charge here. If the elephant is tired, scared, hungry, etc., it doesn't matter what the rider does, the elephant will just do whatever it wants. That's why it's so important to give your new habit some kind of pleasurable emotion or reward attached to it. This is such a big thing when it comes to forming new habits because people think is all they need is willpower, all they need is just motivation to do it. But what they don't actually realize is that it's the unconscious, it's the emotional part of the brain which is actually in charge here. So you can want it as much as you want. You can rationalize about how good it is going to be for you as much as you want. But unless you get your unconscious mind on board as well, it's going to be really, really difficult to form a new habit. The first step to forming a new habit is knowing what you even want that to be. Let's say, for example, your goal is you want to avoid going in all the forums, you want to avoid watching all the YouTube vids, because you know deep down that you're not really getting any answers. It's not really helping you in the long run. So you formed that bad habit, so you want to form a more proactive habit. So what do you do? Well, first of all, you need to think, well, what do I want to do instead of that? Maybe you can say, okay, instead of searching on all this stuff online, I'm going to research about how to do meditation. Now you've got the goal. So you've got that destination, don't you? So you've got the elephant, the rider, the pathway to get there. You know where you want to get. That's step number one. Now you've figured that out. The next one comes the biggie, where you've got to get your conscious and your unconscious mind talking together. What you can do to get your unconscious mind on board here is to wrap it up in positive emotion. As people, we always tend to go towards pleasure rather than pain. But if you're thinking of just about the pain of, oh, I've got to do this, and then I've got to go for a drive, and then it might rain and all that type of stuff, what do you think the elephant's going to do? The elephant's going to go, no, stop this. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. But in the meantime, your rational mind is thinking, no, I want to do this. I want to do this. And then you're going to start to get upset at yourself. You're going to think of yourself as a failure, that you can't form this new habit. And so that's why you've got to get them both talking together. So you really, really have to do your best to focus on the positive, the goal, the reward of achieving your new habit rather than the pain it takes to get there. You've got to think about potential obstacles on the way. So what obstacles could there be with you going to meditate at the beach? Let's say that you want to do it before work, early in the morning, sunrise or something like that. And one of the things that could be getting in the way is that, well, you get up and then you have to sort of look around for your iPad or whatever it is. And then you have to get all your clothes on, and then you have to get out and get in the car and go to the beach. So that's potentially an obstacle. So you really need to give yourself the best chance of success. And so, for example, what you could do is the night before, you can lay out all the clothes that you're going to wear. You can make sure your keys are somewhere within easy reach. So all you have to do is get up, get dressed, and then go. The last thing you need to do is you need to be able to adapt your strategy if things aren't perhaps going the way you want them to go. So you might find that laying your clothes out in the morning isn't necessarily good. So perhaps you can think, well, what's another way that I could do it? Should I try meditating in a different time of the day? Should I just try doing it on weekends, a little bit later in the morning? Or should I perhaps go to bed a little bit earlier so I can wake up a little bit earlier so I can get there? So you have to be a bit fluid with this. It's not just okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And if this doesn't work, then stuff it all, because you're almost setting yourself up for failure there. You've got to be able to adapt. You've got to be able to change your strategy just to sort of tweak it along the way. And then once you sort of tweak it a bit this way, tweak it a bit this way, you're probably going to find you're going to hit this real nice sweet spot. And guess what? You're starting to form a new habit. And that's essentially what habits are. It's doing it more and more and more. So the more you actually do this, the easier it's going to be. And you're sort of breaking these old habits sort of without you even really having to do anything as well. So it's sort of like a win-win. You're changing the old ones or breaking them, stopping them. You're forming these new productive habits. And, once you start to do it enough, it is going to start to just become part of your day. So to quickly sum up, forming new habits, get very, very clear on your goal and get your conscious and unconscious brain talking together by thinking about the pleasure and the rewards of achieving that goal. Think about how you have to do the journey there, any potential roadblocks or bumps which might stop you, and be willing to adapt if anything isn't sort of quite working for you. My friends, I really hope you've learned a little bit about forming new habits in this video. And if you did like it, and if you did learn anything, then consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. And if you did want to talk to me about your habits or anything to do with DPDR, then just leave a comment or reach out to me. All my info is in the video description. And until next time, everyone, I will see you all later. Bye-bye.